As the world eagerly anticipates the unveiling of two pandas at Washington's National Zoo, a starkly different narrative is unfolding in China, where the government is enacting a stringent crackdown on panda advocacy. Once a thriving subculture among millions of panda fans, this movement has come under fire as Chinese authorities tighten their grip on internet discussions surrounding these beloved animals, reflecting broader concerns about fan culture and online activism. On January 24, 2025, visitors to the National Zoo will celebrate the arrival of the pandas named Baoli and Chengbao. Social media will buzz with excitement, with fans sharing selfies and using the hashtag #DCPandas. However, in China the mood is far from festive. Authorities have begun arresting or questioning influencers advocating for animal welfare, accusing them of spreading rumors and fostering what they term radical fan culture. This crackdown is emblematic of a more extensive campaign led by President Xi Jinping against online fandoms, which the government has likened to evil cults. The implications of this crackdown are profound, especially considering the significant role that panda fans have played in advocating for animal welfare in China. For years, activists have criticized aggressive breeding practices in zoos that have led to injuries and premature separations of panda cubs from their mothers. Previously tolerated by the state, these voices are now being silenced. In Sichuan province alone, authorities reported the arrest of 12 individuals accused of defaming panda experts and inciting violence, with some of those detained formerly residing at the National Zoo. Xiao Chang, a researcher at the University of California, Berkeley, highlights the precariousness of civilian discourse in China. These civilian patriots were sometimes encouraged or tolerated by the government, he notes, but when official narratives have new needs, panda fans can also be punished and arrested. This sentiment underscores how quickly the environment can shift for those who dare to speak out, even on an issue as seemingly benign as panda welfare. The shift in policy has alarmed many within the panda advocacy community, which has grown significantly due to social media engagement during the pandemic. Influencers have amassed substantial followings, with one Panda Hihua garnering over 880,000 followers on Weibo. These communities have not only celebrated the animals but have also successfully lobbied for policy changes, prompting the National Forestry Bureau to enhance standards for panda enclosures. However, the government's recent actions signal a retreat from this once tolerated activism. In December, state media cautioned fans against allowing irrational misplaced love to disrupt the field of panda protection, calling for a more scientific and rational approach. This directive reflects a fear of uncontrolled activism that could challenge the state's narrative or operational goals. The crackdown has also targeted a surprising demographic: middle-aged individuals who spend excessive time online. Authorities have painted these fans as a threat to public order, with accusations of spreading misinformation for monetary gain through live streams. Sarah Chang, a volunteer with the international organization Panda Voices, emphasizes that the majority of panda fans simply wish for better living conditions for the animals, desiring access to proper nutrition and care. They just want the pandas to live better, she notes, highlighting that many legitimate concerns remain unaddressed as the National Zoo prepares to showcase its new residents. The juxtaposition of celebration in the U.S. against the backdrop of repression in China raises critical questions about the future of panda advocacy. While the world watches the pandas frolic in Washington, the fate of their advocates back home hangs in the balance, illustrating the delicate and often dangerous interplay between cultural symbols and state power. The ongoing crackdown may signify a chilling effect on not only panda activism but also broader conversations surrounding animal welfare, environmental protection, and personal freedoms in China. As these developments unfold, the international community will be watching closely, pondering what this means for the future of panda diplomacy and the ideals of advocacy in an increasingly controlled environment. As the Lunar New Year approaches, China finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with economic uncertainty even as it prepares for one of its most significant cultural celebrations. This year, amid festive preparations, the overarching sentiment is one of concern regarding the country's economic stability. Policymakers are under increasing pressure to stimulate growth and bolster consumer confidence in a landscape marked by external pressures and internal challenges. China's economic landscape has been under scrutiny, particularly as it nears the end of its 14th five-year plan, which concludes in 2025. This pivotal moment requires not only a reflection on past performance but also the establishment of ambitious goals for the future. According to experts, the Chinese government is likely to roll out a series of stimulus measures in the coming months to reignite growth and consumer spending. The real challenge for Chinese policymakers lies at home, noted Zhong Yuan Zoe Liu from the Council on Foreign Relations. They struggle to mobilize consumers to spend, which is essential for driving growth. Recent remarks from President Xi Jinping indicate a recognition of the confidence deficit plaguing the economy. He has urged citizens to remain optimistic amidst rising external uncertainties, while Premier Li Qiang has cautioned local officials against actions that may further undermine entrepreneurial confidence. However, analysts argue that merely adjusting policies without acknowledging the root causes of economic malaise will fall short of restoring trust in the government's economic stewardship. The backdrop of the Lunar New Year, a period traditionally associated with family gatherings and consumer spending, adds a layer of urgency to these economic discussions. The need for increased household consumption has been highlighted as essential to counterbalance potential slowdowns in investment. Yet experts suggest that without a significant shift in public sentiment, even direct financial assistance to households may not suffice to spur consumer spending. In a broader context, the European Union faces its own set of challenges, with concerns that it risks falling behind both the United States and China in global economic standing. The effectiveness of upcoming stimulus measures and the government's ability to foster a more robust consumer landscape will be crucial. The Lunar New Year celebrations may serve as both a moment of reflection and a catalyst for renewed economic ambition as Chinese leaders strive to balance tradition with the pressing need for economic revitalization. As the world watches, the coming months will likely reveal whether China can navigate these challenges successfully, paving the way for a more resilient economic future. In an era where geopolitical tensions are escalating, the spotlight increasingly falls on strategic military assets, particularly the U.S. Navy's aircraft carriers. As the U.S. remains deeply entrenched in its global defense strategy, China's growing ambitions and military capabilities present a formidable challenge. This dynamic was underscored in a recent analysis by military expert Brent M. Eastwood, which examines China's obsession with targeting U.S. aircraft carriers, symbols of American military strength. Eastwood highlights that China perceives the sinking of a U.S. aircraft carrier as not only a military victory but also a potent psychological weapon. He states, by sinking a carrier, Beijing hopes to shock the U.S. public, paralyze American decision-making, and force negotiations. This strategy is especially relevant in the context of potential conflicts over Taiwan, where a military confrontation could rapidly escalate into a broader confrontation between the two superpowers. The stakes are extraordinarily high. The loss of a carrier and its crew, which could number between 400 to 500 sailors, would likely provoke a national outcry in the United States, compelling the government to reconsider its military stance. In such a scenario, Eastwood posits that China could initiate a blockade of Taiwan, effectively cutting off vital supplies and pushing the island toward capitulation. The ramifications of such actions could lead to unrestricted warfare, fundamentally altering the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region. The analysis also sheds light on the capabilities that embolden China's military ambitions. With a rapidly expanding navy equipped with anti-ship missiles, stealth fighters, and submarines, China's confidence is on the rise. However, Eastwood notes a crucial caveat: despite its modern arsenal, the Chinese military lacks recent combat experience. The last significant conflict involving China was a brief skirmish with Vietnam in 1979, leaving its current military leadership without first-hand battle knowledge. In contrast, the U.S. Navy has maintained a continuous operational presence in conflict zones since the events of September 11, 2001, honing its capabilities and strategies for modern warfare.
The potential for a naval confrontation, particularly around Taiwan, looms large as military analysts speculate that a significant escalation could occur as early as 2027. As the U.S. navigates these treacherous waters, President Donald Trump's administration has articulated a robust defense strategy that includes a renewed focus on the Arctic, with Greenland emerging as a pivotal point of interest. Trump's recent remarks about acquiring Greenland underscore the island's strategic and resource-rich potential, which could serve as a stronghold against Russian and Chinese maritime activities. The U.S. sees Greenland as crucial to Arctic geopolitics, especially with the predicted opening of new shipping routes due to climate change. However, the acquisition of Greenland, while laden with strategic implications, faces substantial legal and political hurdles. Greenland is an autonomous territory under Danish sovereignty, and any attempts to alter its status would likely be viewed as undermining its self-determination. Public sentiment in Greenland appears to lean towards independence rather than a shift in allegiance to the United States, highlighting the complexities of international diplomacy in the region. As tensions mount in both the Indo-Pacific and Arctic regions, the interplay between military strategy and geopolitical maneuvering will be pivotal. The U.S. must prepare for the unforeseen consequences of a potential conflict with China while balancing its interests in Greenland and beyond. In this high-stakes environment, the decisions made in the coming years could redefine the global balance of power, with implications that resonate far beyond military engagements. The world watches closely as both nations position themselves for a future that may very well be determined on the open seas, in a world increasingly concerned with authenticity and transparency. A recent incident involving a Michelin-starred restaurant in Tokyo has sparked outrage among Chinese diners. Xianrongji, renowned for its exquisite Taizhou cuisine, found itself at the center of a social media storm after a food influencer exposed what she deemed discriminatory practices against Chinese customers. The influencer, known as @Chapeafant, shared her dismay over receiving a tasting menu that substituted premium ingredients with cheaper alternatives. This revelation has not only prompted an apology from the restaurant's management but also ignited discussions about culinary equity and consumer expectations in an era where dining experiences are closely scrutinized online. The controversy unfolded when the influencer posted a side-by-side comparison of the menu she received at Xianrongji's Tokyo branch versus another version that featured high-end ingredients like Pacific geoduck and Hudan chicken. Instead, her meal included items such as sliced whelk and squab. Further compounding her disappointment, she noted that adjacent Japanese diners were treated to more lavish offerings, including Chinese mitten crab and claypot rice, while she was served plain white rice. This disparity in treatment raised questions about the restaurant's practices and sparked accusations of favoritism based on nationality. Social media has become a powerful tool for consumers to voice their concerns and hold businesses accountable for their practices. The influencer's post quickly garnered attention, shedding light on the broader implications of such incidents in the hospitality industry. As Fran Luo, a reporter for the South China Morning Post, notes, the incident highlights a growing awareness and demand for fairness in customer service, particularly in culturally diverse settings. The backlash against Xianrongji has underscored the delicate balance restaurants must maintain in catering to an international clientele while ensuring equitable treatment for all patrons. In an age where food influencers wield significant power, establishments that fail to meet expectations risk damaging their reputations and alienating potential customers. The incident serves as a reminder that dining is not just about food. It encompasses the entire experience, including how guests feel valued and respected. As the dust settles from this incident, the restaurant industry may need to re-evaluate its approach to customer service, particularly in tourist-heavy locales. Understanding the cultural nuances and expectations of a diverse clientele will be crucial for maintaining a positive reputation and fostering loyalty among diners. The Xianrongji case may well become a pivotal moment in shaping how restaurants engage with their customers, particularly in an increasingly interconnected world where social media reigns supreme. Looking ahead, it will be interesting to see how restaurants adapt to this new reality.
Will establishments implement more rigorous training for staff on cultural sensitivity and ingredient sourcing, or will they find innovative ways to ensure that all guests feel equally valued? The outcome of such discussions could have lasting effects on the dining landscape as consumers become more discerning and demand not only quality food but also a quality experience. The road to recovery for Xianrongji and similar establishments may well hinge on their ability to learn from this incident and improve their practices in a rapidly evolving culinary environment.